Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael P. Roman. It's been less than a week since Michael Cohen pled guilty to criminal charges, stating in federal court that he broke campaign finance laws at the direction of then-candidate Donald Trump. It was a political bombshell that rocked Washington and prompted renewed calls for Congress to begin impeachment proceedings against the president. And while that still remains officially off the table, according to congressional Democrats, what is clear is that the investigation into Trump's former lawyer has brought federal prosecutors closer than ever to President Trump and his inner circle. But the story of Michael Cohen's downfall, and perhaps ultimately that of the president, has a New York twist. That's the focus of a fascinating new piece by our friends at City and State. And joining us now to tell us about that, and also to break down everything you need to know about what's happening this week in politics, is City and State Editor-in-Chief Jonathan Lentz. John, thanks for coming.
Glad to be here.
So, John, you had a story yesterday by Zach Williams, which basically made the point that if Cohen's indictment leads to Trump's impeachment, it could be because of Uber and Lyft. Really?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, a lot of people have been paying attention to these payoffs for alleged affairs involving the president. But Michael Cohen, his longtime fixer and attorney who flipped on the president, a lot of his wealth for a long time has been wrapped up in taxi medallions. And if you pay attention to the news in New York, you know that the taxi industry is not doing well.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really coincided with the rise of Uber, Lyft, similar ride-hailing apps. They've just shot up. There are more and more of them on the streets. And the taxis are really struggling. And these medallions, they've been an investment for certain folks, including Michael Cohen. He had a lot of money invested in that. And where the wrongdoing comes in, it looks like he took out a lot of credit, a lot of loans against this as collateral. And again, that's just really plummeted, put him in a lot of trouble financially, may have led to him where he is today.
So that's the leverage that the feds had on him for him to flip on the president.
That's right.
And you know, as part of that story, the longtime CFO of the Trump Organization, Alan Weisselberg, I think that's how you pronounce his name,
right.
You know, was just given an immunity deal.
Sure,
by
right.
the feds. I mean, that sounds like the, you know, getting the bookkeeper of the mob. I mean,
Right,
that sounds problematic.
Yeah, we'll be paying attention to that. In addition, David Pecker, the head of the National Enquirer, which has been part of this process, getting negative stories about Trump in this catch and kill process, including this former adult film actress, the Playboy Playmate. He's also cooperating to some degree. So, yeah, stay tuned on that to see what comes out.
It's all getting really close to the inner circle.
Right.
Okay, changing the topic, speed cameras around schools in New York City. They went dark about a month ago because the state Senate didn't vote to extend them.
Sure.
During the last session. There are new developments on that. What are they?
Sure, and this was a really hot topic at the end of session up in Albany. Didn't get the deal done. The Senate Republicans have been criticized for not passing this legislation to renew speed cameras in school zones. There's evidence that it's had a real positive impact. You know, a lot of lives saved, a lot of children protected. So the new deal out is the New York City Council is trying to take matters into its own hands. They're working with the governor, who will pass, just use his own executive authority to allow this to be renewed temporarily, as well as Mayor Bill de Blasio is working kind of with the governor for once,
wow.
To
That's breaking news.
expedite this legislation. They want these back and running when school starts on the 5th. And that way, if you're driving through a school zone and you're speeding, you're caught on camera, you automatically get a ticket. Real safety issue.
On Wednesday, the Governor Cuomo is going to be debating Cynthia Nixon for the first and only debate that they'll have before the primary September 13th. In 2014, Governor Cuomo didn't debate his opponent then, Zephyr Teachout, at all, saying in fact that debates could be a disservice to democracy. What has made him change his mind this time around?
Well, I think Cynthia Nixon already had a high profile to begin with as an actress and an advocate. And I think she's really struck a nerve with a lot of voters on the left. You've seen Andrew Cuomo shift to the left. I think also in this environment, you know, a lot of women are running for office, a lot of liberals and progressives are riled up due to Donald Trump in the White House. So it could have backfired if he said, look, no debate. That said, I think it's his to lose as long as he avoids any gaffes. Polls have shown him up pretty consistently, 30 points or more.
You know, but Nixon campaign says those 30 points are misleading because they're not reaching voters that polls the polls aren't reaching voters that are going to come out for her. And they used the Ocasio-Cortez example where she was trailing Crowley in the primary by 36 points just days before. Did they have a point?
Yeah, to that point, two things. One, in the Ocasio-Cortez race against Joe Crowley, where she had that remarkable upset, there was less polling. There's been more polling in the governor's race, and it's been pretty consistent. Also, it's the entire state of New York. I don't know that the dynamics in that Queens and Bronx congressional district will really be replicated in the governor's race.
All right, we have less than 30 seconds, I believe. Could you tell, the governor's still trying to get out of the hole that he dug for himself when he said that America was never that great. What's he doing to try to get out of that hole now?
I think he's just moving forward. Again, if he says something like that in this debate on Wednesday, that could really hurt him. Apart from that, I think he has a pretty strong pathway forward.
Letitia James, the New York Times endorsed Zephyr Teachout against it. That's a surprise?
That's a big surprise. Though I guess the public advocate Letitia James, her ties to the governor, I think, have hurt her a little bit, at least in this respect. The Times has been skeptical of the governor's leadership. Big boost for Teachout. We'll see if it makes a difference.
All right, John. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you.